I never believed in ghost stories. To me, they were just tales people told to scare each other around a campfire. Got all changed on my last shift as a security guard. The job was at an old abandoned hospital on the very edge of the city. It had been shut down for over a decade after a tragic fire took the lives of several patients and staff. Of course, the local legend said the building was never truly empty, but I just laughed it off. Just another spooky story to keep kids away. My shift began at 11 p.m. The building was massive, dark, and utterly silent. It was just me all alone with a flashlight, a standard issue radio, and my phone. For the first couple of hours, it was exactly what I expected. Nothing. The only sounds were the echo of my own footsteps on the grimy linoleum floors and the constant, annoying buzz from the few emergency lights that still flickered. I did my rounds, checking doors, looking for any signs of squatters or vandals. It was boring, routine, and I was already counting the minutes until sunrise. Then, at exactly 1:33 in the morning, things went from boring to terrifying. My radio, which had been silent all night, suddenly crackled to life. It wasn't a call from dispatch, it was breathing. Slow, wet, and ragged, like someone was drowning and fighting for every single gasp of air. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. I thought about responding, asking who was there, but before I could even press the button, a voice came through the static. It was distorted, warped, but it whispered my name, my actual name. No one at the security company knew my full name, just my last. My blood ran cold. How could anyone know who I was? I tried to rationalize it. It had to be a prank, some kids with a radio scanner playing a joke. Or maybe it was just weird radio interference. I told myself to calm down, to just keep walking my route. But then, at the far end of the long dark hallway I was in, the first door slammed shut with a deafening bang that echoed through the entire building. Then the next one, and the one after that. Bang. Bang. One by one, the doors were slamming shut in sequence, getting closer and closer to where I stood. It was like something invisible was sprinting down the hall, straight toward me. Panic took over. I didn't wait to see what it was. I bolted into the nearest patient room and slammed the heavy door shut, fumbling with the lock. My hands were shaking so violently I could barely keep the flashlight beam steady. The room was stripped bare, just an old metal bed frame and shattered glass on the floor. I pressed my ear against the door, listening, and that's when I heard it. A sound that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Scratching, not like fingernails on wood. It was a high-pitched grating sound, like a scalpel or some other sharp metal object being dragged slowly, deliberately, across the other side of the door. My phone buzzed in my pocket, making me jump. I pulled it out, hoping it was a call, someone I could talk to. But it was a notification for a new voice message from an unknown number. With a trembling finger, I played it. The sound that came out of my phone's speaker was my own voice, screaming. A raw, blood-curdling scream of pure terror. But I hadn't made a sound. I was standing there in complete silence, listening to myself scream from a future that hadn't happened yet. Just as the recording ended, every light in the building went out. Total, absolute darkness. I couldn't even see my own hand in front of my face. And in that pitch-black silence, I heard footsteps. Not outside the door, inside the room with me. They were slow, measured, circling around me. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to move, unable to breathe. The footsteps stopped directly behind me. I felt a breath on the back of my neck, so cold it felt like it was burning my skin. I still couldn't scream. Then the door handle began to turn slowly, and a calm, quiet voice whispered right in my ear. "You shouldn't have stayed after midnight." The next thing I knew, I was waking up on the dew-covered lawn outside the hospital. The sun was rising. My uniform was torn, my radio was smashed into pieces beside me, and my phone was gone. The police were called, but they didn't believe a word of my story. They checked the security cameras. According to the footage, I entered the building at 11 p.m. and never came out. I quit that day, obviously. A week later, my replacement quit after just one night. He told the company the exact same story I did with one chilling difference. He said that when the breathing started on his radio, the whisper that followed wasn't his name. It was mine. They say if you're brave enough to go near that hospital late at night, after 1:30 a.m., you can still hear the crackle of a security radio from somewhere deep inside. And the voice you'll hear calling for help over and over again is mine. Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there.